The opinions expressed on the Simone Edwards Show by our guests are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of the station, its owners, and or the Simone Edwards Show and those affiliated with it. In no event will the Simone Edwards Show, this station, its owners, guests, hosts, or affiliates be liable for the information disseminated on the program, including, without limitation, any loss or damage, indirect or otherwise, arising from information presented on the show. We trust you are of legal age and will consult appropriate professionals prior to employing any opinion expressed on the show. Many of the topics discussed are personal in nature, and some people may disagree with the opinions expressed on the show. We are open to your constructive criticism and or ideas for future radio programs. Please feel free to email us at the Simone Edwards Show at gmail.com. Again, that's the Simone Edwards Show at gmail.com. Hey everyone, we want to welcome you to another installment of the Simone Edwards Show here on this station. It is our Women on the Move Saturday, and it is my pleasure to introduce to some and present to others Miss Jenna Lockett of Heaven Sent Staging and Decor. Doesn't she look fabulous? Look at her. She got out of the car. I was like, yes, queen, yes, yes.
You are the queen. You're beautiful. Thank you.
We're so glad to have you here. I mean, like, seriously, you are so well put together. Like, I would hire you in an instant. I'm like, if I was coming to meet you for a consultation and this is what showed up, I'd be like, yes. What do I need to do? Here's a check.
I have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But it comes natural. It's just, I love to make things beautiful. I guess that includes myself.
Yes, I love it. Okay, so before we jump off into the deep end and start talking about design and decor and your philosophy, let's get to know you a little bit.
Okay.
You are actually from the Jersey Shore.
That's right.
And Jersey has kind of gotten a bad rap. In the media, in Hollywood, sometimes it tends to be kind of like the butt of jokes. Mm-hmm. So tell us about the real New Jersey.
Well, New Jersey, it gets a bad rep, but it's better than New York. No, I can't say that. But the thing that I love about New Jersey is you get the same culture that you get from New York.
Yeah.
In 20 minutes, you can be in the city. In 20 minutes, you can be in the country. Mm-hmm. Literally, my grandparents had a farm. We did all gardening. Everything was fresh.
Wow.
But also, I'm 10 minutes from the shore. Like, in the summers, I'm on the boardwalk, eating saltwater taffy, pepperoni pizza. Well, maybe not pepperoni now because I'm trying to stay away from meat. But, you get the whole culture of New Jersey, New York, right, and New Jersey.
Oh, I love it.
But it's just much more quaint and small and personal, and that's what I love about it.
Kind of like a San Diego, Los Angeles thing, maybe?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Because when I tell people I live in California, LA, or San Francisco, and I'm like, no, San Diego, it's way,
Yeah.
But people don't know about it. They don't know how beautiful it is. They don't know about our beautiful sunsets. They don't know about the culture here in San Diego. So if you're near New Jersey, especially the Jersey Shore, check it out.
I love it. No, seriously, just talking to her offline, I'm like, my next trip to the East Coast, I want to go check Jersey out.
That's right.
Yeah, because I've never really been, and it's funny because I lived in New York for several years. Mm-hmm. I've been to New York several times, and I've never once thought, oh, let me go check out Jersey.
Wow. Well, you definitely have to. Now that you know me.
Yes.
You know what comes out of New Jersey. No, it's not just me, but it's definitely the culture. It's the small mom and pop shops. It's the small communities. It's just the different culture that's there. It's like I said, it's quaint and it's smaller, but it's just beautiful. It's very family oriented. I love New Jersey.
It sounds a lot like I just keep likening it to San Diego because to me San Diego is like a big little city. Mm-hmm. It's like a big city with a small town feel.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, whereas LA is more of a metropolis.
Right,
exactly. New York is more of a metropolis. Right. Okay.
Exactly.
All right, you've given us a reason to go and check that out.
Yes.
So how did you end up from Jersey in Southern California?
Well, I moved here to San Diego when I was 18 years old.
Okay.
Yep. I joined the Navy at 17, and I went to boot camp, and then this was my first duty station.
Oh, wow.
So I lived here for about 5 years then, and then I met my husband, and we married, and we've moved, and now we're back, and I'm so happy to be back in San Diego. I'm really happy.
Okay, so I'm nosy. Where did you move to?
When we left here, we got married in Georgia, but we were actually living in Florida at the time, Pensacola, Florida. And then we moved to Japan.
Ooh.
Yes. I was that lucky. Japan, and then after we went to Virginia, and now we're back here in California.
And so were these all assignments to the military?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Every single one.
All right, so let's talk about the military because you are a veteran. What branch were you in?
Navy as well.
Navy. And then did you guys do any tours of duty?
We did. I served during the war on Iraqi freedom, also the war on terrorism, and enduring freedom as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And I participated in the efforts of Sri Lanka, the Sri Lanka humanitarian efforts.
Okay.
Yeah, I was on the Bonhomme Richard during that time, during the ship, so we were there actually serving
Wow.
the Sri Lankan people. Yeah, it was an experience for sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Were you able to, from the different, we're going to talk about Japan because I want to set that one aside.
Mm-hmm.
But having these tours of duty, what were some of the things that you picked up, like from the different cultures, or what fascinated you about the cultures that you interacted with?
For sure, the Asian culture, just as a whole, not just Japan, because my husband and I traveled a lot while we were stationed in Japan. We've been to Thailand, we've been to China.
Oh, shut up.
We've also been to Indonesia, Bali, Indonesia. I mean, it's amazing. It was amazing. Just the whole culture is surreal. But the Japanese culture is, Japanese people are the kindest people I've ever met.
Wow.
Just the most selfless people I've ever met in my life. They're so disciplined, they're so traditional, but even though, we lived in Sasebo, which is not like towards Tokyo like Yokosuka, it's more in the rice paddies and farming areas. And a lot of them never seen someone my complexion or someone that looked like me. So when I would go into these foreign places, because I love to venture off and go off the, beaten path.
Right.
They would be shocked, but they would be more intrigued, like, hi, wanting to speak English and just so inquisitive, not wanting to touch my hair or anything, but more just like, I want to know you, hi, where did you come from, And they're trying their best to use sign language to talk to me. I just thought it was beautiful.
Oh, that is awesome.
They're awesome. I have so many Japanese friends and that I'm still friends with now, and it was just an amazing experience.
That sounds amazing. That sounds really. It sounds really incredible, especially in light of the fact that to walk into a culture where, and particularly an area where they're not accustomed to seeing you, and to have someone look at you with kind of like intrigue and desire to know you versus threat and fear.
Exactly. There's definitely a difference.
There is a difference.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that is so incredible. So, how much of the culture were you able to embrace when you were in Japan?
Oh, well, I was able to get all the way in it because a lot of military families, when they move to Japan, they move on to base housing because you get the American, the westernized homes, and you get an oven, in your kitchen, and you get, you're closer to the American grocery store, and just everything's different. But we decided to move into a Japanese home, which is called...
Yes,
which is called a Cho. So I had Japanese neighbors. I shopped at the, Japanese grocery store, so I had to actually learn the language. So I engulfed way into the culture. I actually was interviewed for a job to teach English to the Japanese children, and something else, I wind up getting a job somewhere else. But I wanted to get all the way as far as I could. I wanted to learn as much as I could about the culture. For sure.
So you speak Japanese?
Skoshi, very, very small, very little, very little. But just enough to get fed, know where I'm going, ask for help. The necessities of the language.
That is so commendable.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh my, she's a rock star in my eyes right now. That is so incredibly commendable. And, nothing against anyone who wants to stay within their comfort zone.
Right, of course not. Yeah, no.
My bent is towards, that is awesome. So what's the show like?
No, I loved it. The thing about it is, I think we got one that was a little too large. My husband was gone. He was on a forward deployed ship, so he was gone most of the time. So it was me in this huge Japanese house by myself, upstairs, downstairs. Just it was all wood. Like the whole house was wood, so you hear a lot of creaking in the night. And so I was very scared to live in there. But when he was home, it was beautiful. Just the privacy that we had, the landscaping, the gardens, just the community was just awesome. But also, in a cho, it gets very cold. Very cold. In Japan, they don't have like central heating and air and all of that, so you use kerosene heaters still.
Okay.
You still use kerosene heaters, so I would have to go and get the fuel, the gas and all that, and light it up and to stay warm, and I would kind of confine myself into my bedroom, into one room just to stay warm, but that's all part of the culture.
Wow.
Japanese people, they don't even use like beds, they still use, they sleep on the floor with their, they make pallets on the floor.
Right.
So I didn't go that far, but I just was like, well, if they're sleeping on the floor and they're using the kerosene heaters, I want to get into this. I want to do this. I needed my bed though. but I really tried to get as far into the culture as I could.
How long were you there?
We lived there for 3 years.
So for 3 years
3 years. 3 years, I lived in a cho. 3 years, I pretty much was there I had friends there, but my husband was gone a lot, so yeah, I really just lived it up in the culture. I took all the MWR tours, which is, tours that they'd offer to like, strawberry picking or geisha. You can dress up for a geisha for the day. All of that, I did it all.
Wow.
I did it all. I was even a geisha for the day.
That is so cool. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, that is so incredible. So let's see. Let's talk about. I'm fighting myself to break my own rule because I kind of want to find out though. I'm just gonna break my own rule. How much of your time there, and in the Japanese culture, influence or infiltrates into your design style today? Whether it's your personal, not so much your professional, because professional you kind of need to do what the client says. Right. But in your own personal style.
That's a tough one.
Okay, we can come back to it.
Yeah, let's come back to it.
Okay, all right. So let's go back to military. What are some of the lessons that you learned in the military that you apply, or disciplines that you apply to your personal and to your professional life?
I think for me, just being flexible, that flexibility, it's very important in the military to have bearing, so to say, like to be able to, stand up and face things head on, because in the military, you never know what you're waking up to. And even in the world of, even in my life right now, because I'm still an active duty military spouse, so I have to be ready for what tomorrow brings, because it's always so different. Whatever happens in the world, whatever, that can pull my husband, so I have to be ready to stand up and ready for whatever.
So you're a veteran and your husband is still active
duty? Yes, he's a chief in the Navy.
Okay.
So he's still active
duty.
So
do I salute?
No. Yeah, but I think just that the flexibility in the tact is what I really still stand true to today.
Okay.
Military, yeah, for sure.
I love it. So let's switch gears a little bit.
Yeah.
Because this is going to lead us into our next segment. We're going to take a break in just a moment. What's the first thing you notice about a person?
I wouldn't say that it's anything physical. More so me, I feel. Like, I can feel things.
Okay.
So when I'm meeting a person, or even when I can remember my first interaction with a person, it's kind of the vibe I got from them.
Right.
Or their smile, or maybe their eyes. Maybe if I have to pick something physical, it'll be smile or eyes, but more so it's what I felt from them. Like, oh, she was really cool, or she was really nice, or I wonder, you can feel things from people. So that's the first thing that just the feeling I got from them, the vibe, the aura.
Okay, I love it. All right, you guys, we are going to be back with this incredible woman in just a moment. We're going to take a break for station identification, and then we're going to jump off into the deep end. We're going to talk about design philosophy, design style, and she's going to even give us some tips about how to design on a budget. I mean, look at her, right? We need the tips. So she's going to give us some tips, and we'll be back in just a moment. Hey everyone, we are back here in studio with Miss Jenna Lockett of Heavenstead Staging and Decor. And so we're going to continue the conversation. Let's talk about design. Interior design, was this always a passion or was it a happy discovery?
I would say it's kind of both. I remember as a young girl, I mean, I came from very humble beginnings, but as a girl, I remembered like really enjoying going over to my friend's house who had like a really nice house or really nicely decorated or designed. And I just found interest in it. Like if their house was like out of order, but something was pretty, I would try to rearrange it. I just wanted it to be so perfect. And that was as like a little girl. But when I got older, you know, when I got out of the military, I was working for, I worked for the Navy, then I worked for the Air Force, and billing and coding and accounting and all that. But I just wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. So about 3 years ago, well, no, even just moving into different apartments and houses and this and that, I always tried really hard to make them look really nice. And when people would come over, they, oh my gosh, this is so nice in here. It's so warm in here. It's so this, that. And I'm like, really? And so they would ask me, like, can you come over and decorate? And I would just go over and decorate with their budget. But really, it started to be an every weekend thing. And I'm like, well, maybe I need to make a little business out of this, right? Because I really enjoyed it. But it was taking a lot of my time. But it was something that I really enjoyed. I would think about design over numbers. So I thought that, you know, maybe this is a path that I need to go into. So I just became really passionate about it.
And what's great is you have the accounting background, so you can run your business effectively.
Right. And I went to school. I actually got my bachelor's in business with the focus on entrepreneurship. So I kind of, God was already preparing me. I had no idea what I was going to do with it in 2011, but I just went with it. It's something that led me here. I'm happy that I did. It's paying off for sure.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So, what do you love most about being an interior designer?
I think what I love most is reveal day.
Okay.
It's so rewarding to give a family or even a person a place, their sacred place, their temple, whatever it is for them, to make it beautiful for them, make them want to go home every day, make it a warm place and something they're proud of when company comes over. I love that I've given that to them. You know, just out of my mind, I designed that for them. It's very rewarding. Very rewarding.
That is awesome. So is reveal day kind of like, reveal day when they show on the shows?
Yeah.
And they like have it blocked off when the person walks in, or they're blindfolded.
Yep, it's kind of just like that. Sometimes I'm not able to just give that full reveal because there's so many parts, and sometimes I'm doing a whole home or a whole business, so I have to do it kind of in phases where I do this room, then that room, or one day is furniture day, and then the next day will be accessories day. So sometimes they can't get the full because I don't have the staff yet, but it's still, the reveal day is usually when the accessories, the curtains, everything goes up, the carpets are laid, and people walk in and their eyes are like saucers. They're so excited. I'm so excited. And it's a great day.
I can tell because your whole being talking about it, you just light up.
I love it. I love design. I love it.
So what do you enjoy the least?
Can I be honest? No, I don't want to be that. No, kidding. I would say, people see the glam of design. They see the glam of it all, but they don't see the countless hours, how demanding it is. I have so many time constraints and so many deadlines, and so I'm busy and I'm working all the time, sometime until a lot of the emails I probably sent you was after midnight. I'm always working, and so that I'm cutting into family time, I'm cutting into friend time, I'm cutting into my personal time, just trying to meet these deadlines. So it's very, very demanding. So if there's anything, that would be it.
The most demanding part? Yeah.
It's very demanding.
Do you have any influencers in the design world, and who are they?
I do. To be honest, when I was in high school, I had a mentor. It was a military mentor. But now that I'm in the design world, I was lucky enough to find a design mentor, Nikki Klug. I don't know if you're familiar with her.
No.
But she's a brilliant interior designer, and actually I work with her on a few projects a couple days a week. And so just working with her, she's shown me so much. I didn't know there was so much more to learn, but just working with her is amazing. She's a great mentor of mine. She's brilliant.
What is your design philosophy, or is there a design philosophy that you subscribe to?
Definitely not.
Yeah?
Not at all. I think in design, and that's the beautiful thing about it, it's art.
Right.
And you don't have to follow any philosophy. There's no rules. There's nothing. You do what you want to do. You wake up, you see something, it makes you feel a certain way, you do it. So there's no philosophies that I follow or subscribe to. I hardly even follow any other designers just because I want my art to be mine.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I love that you see it as art.
Yeah, I do. Oh, it definitely is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things, so I was telling her offline that, I had to do some research so I could speak intelligently about your craft. And one of the things I noticed was with some of the designers, they... you would have someone who would take like one Asian piece and they would take that and incorporate it with something from Australia or take it and incorporate, so now you have two different cultures, and then incorporate that with something natural. And it seemed like pieces that didn't even go together, but by the time they were done, it was like, oh my God, I would have walked past that. I would have never thought to put that together.
And that's why every room is different.
Yeah.
Every room is different because it's what you make it. It is what you make it. It's your book. You write it how you want to. It's literally an empty canvas, and you just do whatever you want to do. So if you want that piece of art from Japan or wherever to inspire you, and then you saw this from Australia that would complement it, bring it in. It's a beautiful thing. That's what I love about it. No rules.
Oh my gosh. and I love the whole blank canvas because then it's just kind of like what speaks to you.
Yeah, what speaks to you.
Yeah.
What speaks to you. That's exactly what it is.
So, okay. If you could sit down and have lunch with any particular designer, past or present, who would it be and why?
Because I don't follow many, but I do watch a lot of HGTV. I love HGTV. I love Chip and Joanna Gaines. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Yes.
Yeah, they're the best, and I think this is their last season. I'm crying, but not just because they're a husband and wife duo. That's what I aspire to have one day. My husband do the contracting side, and I do the design part of it. So that's why I love to watch them, because that's pretty much what's going on with them too.
Right.
But also there's a designer that I've been following for years, even before I moved here to California, that's actually, she owns, her business is in La Jolla.
Okay.
She's right here, and her name is Kathy Robertson with Robertson Designs. I just think she's brilliant. She has a whole YouTube channel. She started with 1 or 2 followers. Now she has millions.
Yeah.
And it's just, she's herself. She's just herself on camera, showing her everyday life, but she's making these offices and these homes beautiful. She's brilliant. Very elegant style.
Wow.
Design.
Okay. So let's talk about actually designing now. Is there anyone on your, dear God, please let me design this person's home? Home or office?
Is this where I say Oprah?
You can.
Is this where I say Steph curried him? No. All of those people. Yeah, no. I'm just grateful for anyone who calls my phone and,
Right.
Have seen my work, appreciates my work, and, would like to be a client of mine. I definitely feel, because even though, Oprah and Steph Curry, they're amazing, they have money, but it's not about that. It's about the relationship that I have with the client. Do we have that connection? It's
Right.
very important. It's a very personal, intimate thing, believe it or not, because I'm designing a space that you have to live in. So I have to get to know you. We have to vibe somewhat, and so that I can make this space, yours, because I'm doing all the shopping and designing for you, so
I
that you
love
can be
it.
comfortable in your house. Yeah.
So what is your process like? What is that process like?
So initially it starts with a consultation. So you and I would meet for 90 minutes to 2 hours, and we would just talk about what things you love. Usually I ask before the consultation for you to have pictures or anything that inspires you. And we'll go through that, and I'll start to give you my ideas. We'll go through your home, I'll see the space. In my mind, I can start visioning how I'm gonna lay out the furniture. I'll propose it to you. And then we'll start talking about rugs or art. Or usually there's already existing art that the client will show me, and they're like, this is the picture. I have to keep this picture. I love this picture. This is the one. So I'll look at that picture and I'll say, oh, okay. And I can start pulling colors from it. And I already start thinking about textures and what rug I'm going to put with it. And then I'll start thinking about, window panels. So it's all a process. And then paint would be last, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, paint. Like if we have to repaint the room, then that'll be the last thing that we picked and we choose.
I love it.
Yeah. So
And as you're talking, it's creating this image in my mind, and all I can think of is even in those movies where, I use The Matrix as an example.
Okay.
There's a scene in The Matrix where the room is completely blank,
Uh-huh.
and then they're getting, all their weapons, and then all of a sudden you just see this row of weapons coming out of nowhere. And it's like with you when you're designing, you walk in and you meet this person, it's a blank, and they say, okay, I really want to have this piece, or I really want to have this Monet, or I really want to have this rug, or whatever the case may be. And from that, for you to start just extracting, okay, I like that color,
Right.
I like this piece, that would complement it.
Oh, yeah. And then I also have to think about the functionality, because sometime, just for instance, you can have someone and they're like, I want it just like this glam, all glass, pristine room. But I'm like, but you have 4 kids. So, maybe this won't be as functional. I have to be honest with you. We have to be honest about what'll be functional. And so that's also an important part of design. What's functional? What's going to work for you in your space?
Right.
I understand you love this, but what if we do this? And, maybe a different fabric, something that's wipeable for the kids. Just all different. There's so many different just factors to design, just to to implement it correctly.
And one of the things that I'm super fangirling right now. One of the things that I really like about what you're saying, though, is what I'm hearing is it's not just about art, because you could be on the side of the spectrum where it's, no, this is my art and it's what I'm creating and I'm going to make it fabulous and you're going to love it. But you go a step further and just saying, okay, yes, I want to make you something beautiful and I want to make something that you can walk into, but I also want to make something that's functionally beautiful for you.
Exactly. And that's where the design aspect of, because you can style and you can decorate all day.
Right.
But is it going to be functional? Is it going to be functional for your family? And that's where the design part of it comes on. Do we have enough room for that? Are people going to, your family of 6, are they going to move well in this room? When you have 2 more guests over, where are they going to sit? So we can't do this, all this big, things. We have to kind of do it like this. And that's why a consultation and furniture layouts are so important. Because people would love for me to just come over and just say, hey, I need my bedroom done. Just come over here and charge me something. We can't do that. 1, I don't know you. I don't know what you like. 2, I don't know what it looks like. I don't know everything we're going to need. All of that is very important. That's why the consultation is so important for us to just go through that and have a clear understanding of our relationship and what product I'm going to give to you.
What do you do with the client who comes in and they're kind of like, I want it to be pretty. I don't know what I like. Just surprise me.
I love those clients, actually.
Really?
You know who was a client like this, and I don't think she'll mind Danielle King?
Yeah.
She was the client, and it kind of is a gift and a curse because you want to please them. And so the whole time you're doing this, you're like, I hope she loves it, because she gave me no direction, but that's how she was. She was like, I don't care, just make it beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And it was actually her business. I did her business, her gym, and I actually did her home as well. So, and it was both. She just let me do them, and she loved them. So, yeah.
And I've been to Fitness is My Sickness, so yes. I did not know you designed that.
I did. I actually, and I just styled that. It was already kind of painted and everything. I just made it very functional for the daycare and for the ladies to have a pretty place to go.
Right.
Like something that's more, pretty.
I love it. All right, you guys, we're going to take a break for station identification. We will be back in just a moment. More goodies to come. We're going to get some tips. We're going to find out more about Heaven Sent Staging and Decor, especially for those of you who are listening, and even for those who will listen in the future. If you're like, oh my God, I want a new look for 2018, we're going to find out how you can connect with Jenna. We'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so we are back here in studio with Miss Jenna Lockett of Heaven Sent Staging and Decor, and we're going to continue the conversation. So you do commercial and residential.
I do.
Okay.
I started off doing only residential, and actually, I believe Danielle King, was my first commercial, and then actually I'm on my second salon now. I'm currently doing my second salon. So
really?
Yeah, so I'm super excited about that. The salon was actually where we actually took down walls and new drywall, new trim, new paint, new furniture. It's amazing. It's my first full service design in a commercial space, but it's going amazing, and it'll be done in about a week.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, a week.
So does your husband currently do the construction piece with
He
you?
does. He's helping me in the salon. Well, he's not just helping me. I pay him as well, but he's my contractor for the salon.
Oh,
so
wow.
he's been doing most of the work. He doesn't I have another electrician, but he does all my other contract work.
That is really awesome.
Yeah,
so
that's
now those
awesome.
are two completely different animals. When we're dealing with residential, a room, a home versus a business.
Very different.
Completely. And so the business side, talk to us about designing for business. Because for home, you can be like beautiful and elegant and free and floating.
Right.
But depending on the business, there's like
Definitely. So like what I said, I've done a gym and I've also done a salon. So both of them are going to function differently. They both have different needs, but both of them still wanted it to be not lush, but designed, so to say, and decorated and styled, so to say. But like in a salon, the furniture would be different, of course.
Right.
Also in a commercial space, you have different requirements for the state, like 88. You know, it has to be 88 compliant for certain bathrooms, or entrance ways for handicapped, and so you have to keep those things in mind. Different codes, if you're dealing with electrical. So it's very different, and it's definitely a new experience, but I think I'm tackling it, and it's great. I'm learning a lot, that's for sure.
That's awesome.
I'm learning a lot.
So what is the first thing you see when you walk into an empty space?
The first thing I see is furniture. The furniture plans or the furniture layout. I have to see that in my head first. Like, how is this going to work? And that's when, after the furniture, or how I see, okay, we'll have a sectional here, or a sectional won't fit here, or we'll have a regular sofa here, or maybe we could do 2 chairs here. So I'm always thinking about the furniture plan first.
Right.
And then I'm going to find inspiration for design or for style.
Okay.
But it's definitely furniture first, how it's laid out. But if sometimes I go into clients' homes and they already have furniture there, but sometimes I'm able to move it in a different way, and they're like, oh my gosh, it feels so much bigger in here. I feel like I have a new home. I feel like it's new furniture, but sometimes it's just moving what you have around. I do not, when I'm designing a home, I really don't like to just go out and get everything brand new. I don't like to do it. I like to use existing pieces. I like to use older pieces, pieces that, even something with a little nostalgia to it. I love it to break up, and that's how you bring to a room, so that things don't look as staged.
Okay.
They actually look lived in. You want a space to feel lived in.
Oh, nice.
That's how it feels warm. So, and you do that by incorporating old pieces with new pieces, and that's how you do it.
I love it. So your design process, right? We touched on it a little bit earlier, but before. So let's say I'm going to give you a mental challenge.
Okay.
You have a blank room.
Okay.
Right? All you see are the bones. What is your design process before? What is your process during? What is your process after? Are there any rituals that you have? Certain, you know what I mean? Like, some people have rituals like, okay, I need to drink some tea. I need to listen to some music.
No, I just think before, like I say, for me, a project starts at the consultation. So even before I meet that client for the first time, I have to be prepared. So usually I'm asking for pictures because, I'm a designer, but I'm still not a magician. A magician. I kind of have to prepare myself just like everyone else. So I have to be prepared the night before, not the night before, but before the consultation, I'm preparing. I'm kind of going through my mind, already thinking of that furniture plan, already thinking about what the potentials are. But at that time, I don't know. I haven't had the consultation with them, so I don't know exactly what they want.
Right.
So I'm just preparing myself for different scenarios.
Gotcha.
And then I go and I have the consultation and we'll talk about it. And after the consultation and I know their style, then I'm doing more research. It's a lot of research.
Really?
Lots of research. Even during, because things change.
Right.
Sometimes we get things in or things that we thought, the client and I have talked about, sometimes they're not feasible. Sometimes it's going to cost too much, or what we were looking at is all the way in the UK and it would be too expensive to ship here. So it's always research. But during the design process, when it starts, I'm shopping, I'm getting concept boards together. So a concept board is like if I go and I do a consultation with you, you'll tell me what you like. Then I'll, in my mind, or I'll start researching, pulling projects together and paint samples, and I'll put it on a board for you. And I'll let you see it all together, all the colors, all the treatments, the window treatments that I'm thinking about, the rug that I'm thinking about, the paint color that I'm thinking about. And I'll put it on this board for you, and I'll present it to you. And at that time, you'll say, wow, or you'll say, I think those curtains might be a little too dark. I'm a little scared of the green, or I'm too scared of the, whatever. So I'll go out and I'll change that out. And so I'll give you maybe 2 to 3 concepts, and then I'll start implementing. And when you implement, that's when the reveal date comes about. I'm shopping, and then we'll talk about a reveal date, which is the date that I actually come and I make the home beautiful. And then you'll come and see the home, and after that, we'll do like a punch list, which is maybe you didn't like this vase. So you'll say, oh, I don't like this vase. Maybe we can get something a little taller. And I'll go through and, just make sure that you're satisfied. at the end, that's the whole thing, making sure you're satisfied. So just making sure that everything's up to par. That's the end of the process. Just making sure that you're completely 100% happy.
I love it. Okay, so let's go back in the process to the concept board, right? So you put a concept board together and you bring it to someone, and they don't like anything on the board. How many concepts? Do you have a limit? How many boards do you put together before you're kind of like?
So honestly, I have only had one client who did not. And it was actually, and I forgot about this. I actually did a consultation, an over the phone consultation for an eyelash salon in San Francisco, and maybe it was her culture because I don't know if I should say this, but she was Asian, and she just her design aesthetic. She wanted something more natural, something with more greenery, something more with natural just more different than my style. So I think we went back and forth, maybe about 3 concepts, but I've never done more than 2. But it was great. It was definitely a challenge, and we met back up, and she agreed with everything that was on the board, and she purchased it, and the salon came out beautiful.
Oh, I love it.
Beautiful, yeah.
So you actually do virtual consultations?
I do.
So do you do virtual so then would you travel to San Francisco afterwards?
It depends. If she actually hires me for the project, then she would fly me out to San Francisco and I would do the work. But because she already had her own construction team, I think her dad was doing the work. This was her second lash salon. So she kind of knew the ropes about it a bit, but she wanted a different design and a different feel. So she just hired me for the consultation, and I designed that board for her, and I gave her the links exactly where to go and get all the products that was on the board, and she did it herself.
I love it.
Yeah. So that's definitely an option for my distant clients, for us to do everything virtually. We're in 2017, almost 18. We could do everything online.
Right.
Everything.
Right. I love that though.
Yeah.
I love it because what it does is it not only does it minimize overhead, but it also keeps you viable as a designer, because then you're not. It's not, oh, you have to fly me out.
Right, exactly.
And you have to hire me in order for me to work with you.
It's options. It's all about options.
Right.
It's about being, what do you call it? Just available to everyone.
Right.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, you can tell me what to do and I'll put it together.
Exactly.
I just want this piece.
Exactly.
Because maybe this is the piece that will fit into my budget.
There you go. There you go. And that's, I want to be available to everybody. I really do. I would love to be, some clients are going to be a little more budget conscious, but I know what I can provide for that amount. And you may not be able to get every single thing that you want because it's more expensive, but at least we have a plan. We can do this in phases. It's all about options. It's all about options.
Now, I have a tough question for you. What about, what do you do when you have you encountered the client who says, and we'll use Asian, right? I love all things Asian. I want an Asian-inspired room. I want it to look like this. I want it to feel this way. And you kind of look at their home. You look at where they live. You've met with them. You kind of know how they are, and you're just like, I know what you want, but this isn't going to work.
Right. And you just have to be honest with them, because if you're not, when you go to reveal day and they walk in, it's not going to be anything that they've imagined. So you have to be honest and let them know, well, maybe we can't do that, or maybe we could do this instead, or what do you think about this? Just giving them other options, because if you don't know, you don't know. But sometimes, I'm the professional, so I know and I can give you options. And that's what people love. They want options.
I love it. Absolutely love it. So I have about 1 more minute. So let's see. What is the biggest mistake people make? What do you think is like one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they try to design on their own?
I think people just buy. They don't plan. They don't research. They just buy. So they're just pulling just from everywhere. Oh, I like this purple. Oh, I love this green. Oh, I love this. And not saying that, because like I said, design is art, whatever, but it may not be cohesive. It may not blend. It's not going to give you that well methodical, thought out design, because you're just buying, and for the money that you spent, you could have hired a designer or just had a consultation, so I can exactly tell you where to go and what to do, and how to get that vision that you're looking for.
I love it. All right, you guys, we're about 15 minutes away from the top of the hour. We are going to come back. Jenna is going to give us some practical, she kind of segued us into it. She's going to give us some really practical tips on what we can do to budget, to design a small space, a dark space. We're going to talk about all those things, get some tips from her. And here's the best part. If you just want a consultation, if all you're looking for is like, just put it together for me, give me a concept board, and I'll take it from there, we're going to talk about all that. So we'll be back in just a moment. Hey everyone, we are back here in studio. We just want to let you know that our technical director has let us know that we've been having some difficulty with our Wi-Fi hotspot. It's dropped, so we actually have the video we're doing live via Facebook, and then we also have the actual video, and we're going to get that posted hopefully today, and if not in the next couple of hours, definitely before the weekend's over, so that you can watch us seamlessly from start to finish, and we'll have that up on our YouTube page, and we'll also transition it over to our Facebook page. So just keep that in mind. So we're going to continue the conversation with Jenna. Your personal design style, and I love this when I read this about you. It says that it is a balance of transitional, contemporary, Hollywood Regency with modern and natural materials and color. First of all, what is Hollywood Regency?
When you think Hollywood Regency, you think over the top, you think glam, you think regal, you just think big.
Is it old Hollywood or new Hollywood?
I think you can match both. I mean, you could do either. And that's why I say transitional, just to kind of blend the two.
Right.
Or blend all of my design styles. As I told you before, I don't have a specific style. I don't have a specific designer. I just kind of do what comes naturally to me. And that's why I love all of those styles. I do. And in my home, I blend all of them. And they work.
Yeah?
They work. Oh,
so, in your home, do you have any influences of your time in Japan? Is there anything that you've pulled in?
Oh, definitely. From all of my travels. Okay. All of my travels. We have, we bought our first piece of art in Bali, Indonesia, so that's there. It's huge. It's beautiful. It's just a beautiful painting. Just different figurines that we got from Thailand and here and there. And I have a lot of Japanese. They're not real Fabergé eggs, but these. We would go to the bazaars in Japan, which is kind of like, not a flea market, but kind of like that, and you get all these Japanese goodies from all over Asia. And so I would always get the wooden and organic, whatever with natural textures and with cool designs. I would get all those little pieces, and so they're throughout the house.
I love it.
Throughout.
Absolutely love it. And what's nice about chatting with you is it really expands the design palette, because then you can kind of break out of that, oh, my style is classic. You know how they have the test?
Yeah.
Like, are you classic? Are you contemporary?
Right.
Are you this? Are you that? And it's kind of like, no, how about I'm all of...
Right, how about I'm me? How about I'm me? How about I'm what I like? But yeah, for sure. And it's kind of like, because I do like, kind of when I check into a hotel, I like the modern, and the contemporary, the clean lines. But that's not functional for my house, because I still like the traditional, like the deeper sofas and, with the bigger. I like that. That's what's comfortable to me. I guess it reminds me of my childhood.
Yeah.
But then I also like the Hollywood Regency. The glam in me likes the Hollywood Regency, the glam, and my bed is this huge canopy bed and with the whole top. And so I just like what I like, I guess.
Right. Love it. Okay, so how can someone, let's say we have someone who's listening, and they're just kind of like, I don't know what my design style is. Like, I just, my my room still looks like it did when I was in college, and I want something a little bit more adult. How can I determine what my design style is? What would you say to that person?
I guess we all know. I think we all know what we like. We all know what makes us warm. Even if we know what store we like to go into. I can ask the client, what's your favorite stores? And just from them telling me, oh, I love the Gallery. Okay, then I know you love glam. I love Pier 1. Okay, well, I know you like a little glam, but a little rustic, So it just depends. I'll ask you just from questions like that, or you have to think to yourself, what stores do I enjoy going to, or whose house do I like, or just start thinking and making mental notes, and you can kind of say, oh, okay, and do a little research on whatever that is, and that'll kind of tell you.
Love it. Okay, budget-friendly tips for designing. Someone has a small space. It's definitely, I don't think in California we have the problems New York does as far as like the 300 square foot apartments.
Are you serious?
Oh, girl.
No. Are you serious that you really think that? I think California homes are super tiny.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Oh.
I mean, personally, I do, unless you're going to pay a buck for it. That's when you kind of get the room. But if you're looking for, it's pretty small to me.
Yeah.
To me, coming from the East Coast, New York, like you said, is a metropolis, so everything's so small. Any major city things are going to be smaller and more expensive. But I don't think you get much bang for your buck here in San Diego.
No, probably not with the housing, but maybe a little bit better with the apartments.
Yeah, maybe.
At least in my experience, I've been a little bit more fortunate to have places that were a little, with the exception of one, places that were a little bit more expansive.
Look, we're currently looking for a new home where we had a 3,200 square foot home in Virginia. So moving here, we had to move into we moved into a 2-bedroom, and I think it's like 1,200 square feet. I mean, literally, I'm like kicking every closet door to keep it shut because I had no space. Yeah. So I'm happy. I'm excited to get to the question about, you said about
small
spaces.
Yeah. How do you make a small space? Because with small spaces, you run into clutter. With small spaces, it can feel cramped.
Yes.
So what can you do to make a small space feel open and still be beautiful?
Okay. So with a small space, we already know we can't do anything about the square footage. It's as wide and long as it's going to get, right?
Right.
So we can't really get anything like furniture that's going to be too big. We kind of have to go up.
Okay.
We have to take things up. So whether you're going to do shelving or, bins that you can put at top of the closet. So organization is key when you're in a small space. And I think you really need to start there. Just getting, the different containers. They have the clear containers. They have all these cute little bins now, and they have shelving and baker's racks and, the shelving you can get from IKEA, the actual, what do you call it? The tall stands in IKEA and different. So it's really about organization.
Okay.
And taking things up horizontally? Vertically, yeah. Taking things vertically up instead of horizontally.
Okay, love it. let's talk about large spaces. So now we're going to go to the opposite side,
Yeah.
right? So now we have someone's like, oh my God, I went from, let's do the opposite.
Yeah.
I went from 1,200
Yeah.
to now I'm in 3,200.
Right.
And I'm just like, I'm overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my God, what do I do?
Right.
I want to fill every space.
Yeah, that's what they think.
Right.
I need to fill every space, and you don't. You really don't. So I do think the size of furniture, the scale is what we call it. The scale of furniture is so important. Like if you have this huge living room now, you can't do this tiny love seat. You actually need a sofa or a sectional. You need things to fill that space, but not just with small objects. Like you don't want to get all these tchotchke pieces. You actually want to get bigger pieces and then begin to fill around the bigger pieces.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about a dark space? You have somewhere that doesn't get a lot of light, and you want to. So let's think about maybe an office, right? And there are kind of like the studio. There's no windows,
Yeah.
and I want to bring in light because it's dark, and I want to bring in the outdoors. Without necessarily having to buy flowers every week. What are some ways that I can make a dark space more lively?
So one of the things that you can do, believe it or not, paint is a problem solver for a lot of things. Sometimes if you're in a darker space, it may be the paint. Sometimes if you get a brighter paint, like I've gone into houses, I'm actually working on a project where the whole house was gray, and I love gray, but it was a dark gray. We needed something with a cool gray because the house didn't have a lot of windows and a light in the entrance. So, you want to do a cooler color. Even your window treatments, sometimes just you have, what do you call it, like dark out curtains. Those wouldn't be good for a dark out space. You want something maybe more like shears that'll let the sun come through. So even just small things like that will change the whole light in the space.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So what can... yes.
And one more thing.
Yeah.
Lighting, the actual lighting.
Okay, talk
like
to us.
overhead lighting. Sometimes you have, a very small light fixture. Install recessed lighting.
Okay.
Or if that's too big, then, just change the light bulb sometime, just get a
Right.
lighter wattage or whatever. So a brighter wattage.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I love that.
helps.
That's really good. Because a lot of times we don't think about lighting.
No, you don't.
You know what I mean?
But it changes the space.
Right.
I'm a light person. My husband tells me I'm like a goldfish. Anything that lights up, I love it. Light really, it makes the space, for sure.
How to make a homeroom office look more luxurious. Ways to make it look more luxurious, elegant. Can you all tell that this is more like this question is kind of like for me? But the things that you want to do to bring in that sense of just opulence without it being tacky or overboard.
I just think textures are important.
Okay.
I think it's just you get what you pay for, so to say. So if you go, and I don't think everything has to be high quality, but I think you need to mix the two. You could do Ross and Burlington, Ross and Burlington. That's fine. That's what we can, I still buy Ross and Burlington. My whole house is pretty much Ross and Burlington. But also, it's nice to bring in a higher, thicker curtains, or actually maybe getting them made, or maybe going somewhere like a West Elm or a TJ Maxx Home Goods versus a Ross. You're going to get two totally different qualities of curtains from just Burlington or Ross to TJ Maxx Home Goods.
Okay.
So just kind of, mixing the two. That'll give you a more luxurious space.
I love it. And so talk to us about, I think we're about 2 minutes away from the close of the show.
Oh.
So I know
That was
we
quick.
are here already,
Yes.
another Saturday. And so for the person who's listening now or will listen in the future who's just like, wow, I really liked her style. I liked what she had to say. And whether it's I want a concept board or I want to hire her for my office, my home, I'm starting a business, I want to hire her.
Yeah.
How do we get in contact with you, Jenna?
Oh, please follow my Facebook page, Heaven Sent Staging and Decor. You can also find me on Instagram with the same name. And you can also go to my website, www.heavensentdecor.com.
Excellent. And if you missed any of that, I want to say, Heaven Sent Decor, we follow you on our Instagram page,
Yay.
as well as you are on our Facebook page. But as always, if you guys ever have questions, reach out to us at SimoneEdwardsShow@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to forward the information on. We want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to hang out with us today. We hope you got some really good design tips, got you thinking a little bit, looking at design as more of a functional art form.
Yes.
This has been our time. Jenna, thank you so much for being in
thank you,
studio with
Simone.
us today. We'll see you guys next Saturday. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Bye.
Thank you.
You are so welcome.